Bobby Brown, what's up, man? Hey, to North Monty's online.
Yes.
All right, we'll get rolling here in just a second. Get a couple people piled in there. See a couple of them showing up over here. Give it a few minutes. Greg Thomas, what's up, man?
What's up, Greg?
Oklahoma's worst dangler. What's up, dude? South Georgia Bass. How's it going, Brian? Hank Snow. Now you're here. Enjoying the nice 70, 80 degree weather, I'm sure. So now we're getting the people rolling in. There we go. Thumbs up already. Yep, make sure you guys are smashing that thumbs up. Doug Shelton, what's up, Tom? Bob said not much. How's it going? It's going good, dude. So hopefully we get a good live stream this evening. So make sure you pack some questions in there.
What's up, Sophia? Make sure you take care of Finley. Finley's the dog.
Oh, Finley. Oh, your dog, Finley. I got you. Okay. All right. Let's see over here.
White whale fishing's in here. What's up, Tackle Junkie? Thanks for stopping by. Chris, good evening, fellas.
Let's slide this over a little bit.
Okay.
Make sure I'm scrolling down there on the Facebook side. Maybe. There we go. All right.
There we go. Now I can see. Jeremy Pickett, what's going on, man? Good to see you on here. David, what's up, buddy? Swimmo Fishing 2.
Who's the fishing team? David Gill. Got some new guys on here. That's good. Got 22 already.
Maxim Paz. What's going on? Bill, what's up, buddy?
Oh.
So, anybody been doing any fishing over the last week? Or can you even fish? I know you North guys are probably iced over by now, or pretty close, but some of you guys got 60-degree water temps. We're, let's see, I was over at Kincaid on New Year's Day and the water was like 44, so it's definitely starting to cool off. But we got a lot of rain coming this weekend. You see that forecast? We're supposed to
like 3 inches.
Yeah, 3 to 5 inches of rain. So we're gonna have cold, muddy water after this weekend. So
the only thing that's gonna save that a little bit is all the temperatures supposed to be like almost 50 every day.
yeah, but then it's supposed to drop a little
It's
bit.
supposed to drop one day and then come back up. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
That's good. Yeah, if we get some sun, that water will warm right back up. So, what's up, Daryl, Logan, Brian, South GA? See Doug in there?
Oklahoma's worst stinger. 24 thumbs up and only 13 likes. Yep, definitely hit that guy thumbs up, guys.
Doug, no fishing. That's a bummer.
Too cold or busy working. Yeah.
Logan fished Egypt today. How was it, Logan? I was over there yesterday, and we caught some fish. We had to work for it. The wind was out of the south, and you want a north wind over in that lake because the power plant's up on the north side of it, and it blows all that warm water down the lake. So I think we had 48-degree water temperatures most of the day, and let's see, we fished till about 4 or so. About the last hour, we went in the marina there, and the water was about 52, so it warmed up a little bit. But the guy I was fishing with said he had fished a couple days earlier, and he found 60-degree water temperatures in the marina. So even though it was 52, it still dropped, 8 degrees, and that kind of messes those fish up a little bit. But it was a little bit tougher than what I anticipated. BP fishing. Let's see. Capitals 2018. Full Armor Bassin. What's up, buddy?
Just been doing the winter trout fishing. Caught a bunch on the rod. Bennett Springs. Caught some in St. Louis ponds too. St. Louis ponds.
Yeah, they do that.
Too many of them, is there?
They do that winter stocking up there. Yeah, SWMO Swimmo. I've been trying to set up a trip to get down to Montauk with a buddy of mine. So hopefully Greg's not a big trout.
No,
fishing
you
fan,
just keep it.
Man, I love it. I love standing out in the river waving a wand. It's a good time. But we're trying to set that trip up. It's just, you know how it is. He's got kids, I got kids, so it's hard to get it done.
I want to go trout fishing. I have to go over here to Legion Lake.
Yeah, but you know what? It's different standing in a river. It's completely
Yeah, it's
different.
cold.
Yeah, it's
You
cold.
just keep that. I have no interest in that whatsoever. Oh man. Yeah, stuff. I don't do well with standing in the cold river there, the creek or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste, but I don't know. I started as a kid, so it's in the blood now.
Yeah,
Actually,
I did it for a long time.
Did
I
you?
just not big into it.
I used to go all the time. I used to go about once a month.
Yeah, we always
that trip.
Yeah, we always made it for opening weekend, and then you had everybody down there shoulder to shoulder, and lines were crossed over everywhere.
See, you didn't do it right. You can't go on opening weekend. That's like the worst time to go trout fishing.
It was just it was a deal we did every year. So
Yeah,
we went, during the summer, then it wasn't so bad. But
that's like going to the Lake of the Ozarks to bass fish in like June or something. You're gonna have
or April in the FLW tours down there.
Yeah. It's a whole lot better right now down there. Neil said he went to Newton Lake and it's been good. That's good to hear. That's Power Plant Lake, right? Right, Neil? Logan said, I had to work for them as well. Everything on a Ned rig and a shaky head. Yeah, I caught several fish on the shaky head. We didn't fish a Ned rig. The guy I fished with, Ron DeRosa, he's a guide up at Mille Lacs, smallmouth guide. So he guides from like May to October, and he's caught a lot of fish on the Ned rig. So he definitely did not want to fish a Ned rig. He was burned out on it. So we threw A rigs mainly. I did a lot of experimenting. I threw a spoon around, and I couldn't get a jerkbait bite. I was kind of surprised. I mean, I really gave that a couple hours, and it just didn't happen. Jeremy says, I need to get some good cold weather gear so I can get out there. I can honestly say I've never fished in cold weather, so I'm a rookie. Jeremy, you got to get out there, man. You live right there. Get you several layers, several light layers, some synthetic materials, and a decent rain suit, because that rain suit's real important.
Yeah.
Not
the light frog togs from Walmart either.
Right. I mean, you have to invest a little bit, but our air is so damp around here, so humid, that if you just wear clothes a lot of times over the course of a few hours, you start getting cold because that moisture just kind of starts absorbing through those clothes. So you need a good outer shell that keeps you dry inside.
I'm trying to think where that one got mine.
I got a Cabela's guide wear, and they're expensive. They're like $2 something for the top, $2 something for the bibs. But I've had it for at least 10 years, and I mean I wear it probably 50 times a year.
Yeah. It's a big investment, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're fishing colder stuff.
And I think Cabela's has a lifetime guarantee on some of their stuff. I'm pretty sure the guy where does. I don't know if if they still honor that since they were bought out by Bass Pro, but they used to.
I wouldn't think so. Yeah. I mean, it's still a Cabela's name.
Right.
So. See, 400 bass. What about 2 surf rods with a couple boxes of worms last week, just in case bass fishing didn't pan out. So if it turned into a catfish video. Hey man, there's nothing wrong with catfishing. Like I said, it's pretty fun.
There's a lot of guys that catch those big blues and stuff out in the river this time of year. They get in those holes, and even that water temperature would be like 38 degrees. And
Yeah.
catch some studs.
I remember Bill Dance doing a video just north of St. Louis there, when he was catching channels and blues out there.
Yeah.
They were huge.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they were trolling. They were drifting.
Yeah, they do that bottom bouncing. They put shad on there,
Yeah.
and they just kind of drift down and bounce it off the bottom. So, thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. Daryl says he caught a few trout at the Bush Wildlife Sunday. Hey, Daryl, do they is that open season like catch and keep starting in February, or do they wait till March up there? Like down here, it's starting in February. You can start keeping those fish. Brian's got to wait 4 months until ice out in northern Minnesota. Sorry, Brian.
I couldn't live there. There ain't no way.
I was talking to Ron yesterday, and like I said, he guides up there, and I asked him about do people guide in the winter when the ice is on, and he told me there's ice fishing guided trips up there. It's like a big deal. There's people that guide all year long. They guide the open water, and then they guide on the ice. I had no idea. He said it's a whole nother world up there. People fish all year round. Neil says, yeah, Newton's a power plant. Like, yeah, I need to get up there. That's a pretty long drive
Where's
from
that,
here, isn't it? Yeah, Newton.
I don't know where that's at.
Yeah, it's kind of northern mid Illinois, I think.
Newton. Newton. Yeah, it's gotta be like up towards Smithville, I would think.
Pond Cutter Nation said, I tried out the A rig for the first time last week. It's now in the arsenal. Yeah, this is the time to throw it, man. It's
Builds confidence.
yeah, it builds confidence. You can catch those fish when they won't hit that jerk bait. Let's see. Jeremy says, I've been researching some reindeer. Looks like you're going to get what you pay for. But if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. Yeah. Have you heard, Academy? I've seen those rain suits they have over there. They're $60, $70, I think,
Yeah.
a set or a piece.
I haven't really looked at them, but I was trying to think of what, I think it was a Dick's. Dick's had a sale on, I don't know, I'm trying to think what the name of them were. They were pretty decent, heavy rain gear suits. And they were on sale like $50 or $60. And they were heavy duty. I was kind of impressed with it, but
Yeah,
I couldn't think of the name of what they were. That's what I was trying to think of, but I'm not sure what they were anymore.
one of my fishing buddies, Jerry, he has the Bass Pro Shops Pro Qualifier rain suit. Of course, it's a little bit lighter rain suit, but he's had pretty good luck with that. Chris says he bought the Cabela's guy wearing rain suit. Yep, I love it too. It's been pretty good for me. What's up, Sophia?
More fishing stuff out of the van, the show, haven't put it back in yet. Oh, for the show.
Jeremy wants to know, what have you had the best luck using at Cedar in the Cove? I usually throw a jerkbait this time of year over there. I just fish the outside grass lines. You need to get out there too, because when we get that rain, it's going to get muddy over there and it's going to get a lot tougher. Get this way.
I don't think it was mine. Oh, you're fine.
But yeah, Jeremy, I usually stick with a jerkbait. You could throw an A rig, but I think you can only throw 2 hooks on there. You have to put 3 dummies on the top. Sometimes you can throw that shad wrap. I've caught some fish. It's been a while ago, but I did catch quite a few fish on a shad wrap. Had a couple days over there and did pretty good. So basically, just keep it simple. You just need probably 3 rods, 3 or 4 rods. If you got a lot of confidence with a jig, I'd be throwing like a finesse jig or something over there.
See, South Lake Missouri fishing. I think one of the lakes you can still keep them now. Others are catching or releasing until February. I thought most of them were February if they were stocked by conservation.
Okay, that makes sense. I know a guy I work with, he took his boy up there over the weekend. He said there was a guy keeping the trout, putting them in a cooler. Yeah. There's a lot of poachers over there. And it's funny.
I get your
well, and I told him, I said, you need to call that conservation number, the game warden, to have them get out there. Because there's been a couple times when I suspected people of doing that. And I know for a fact that the first 3 weeks, like it opens up November 1st, those first 3 weeks, you can catch fish. The fishing's really, really good. And I know it's because they're freshly stocked. But after about December-ish, it starts getting a lot tougher. And I think that people will start taking them out of there because it just doesn't seem like there's as many fish in there.
What's up, John? What's up, Mark? Thanks for joining, guys.
What's up, Ron? I was just talking about Ron. Yep, Sims. Sims makes good stuff too.
All right, we got over here, Ron, right here.
I haven't quite made enough money to buy the Sims stuff yet, though. It's pretty high dollar, but
Yeah.
it's good. I know it's good stuff, though.
And see, my brother and I went to Kincaid yesterday. Had 6 keepers and some unders. Best 5, about 15 pounds. First keeper of 2020, 3.8.
Dude, you got to figure it out over there, man. Good work. I struggled. I went over there New Year's Day, and I struggled. But I'm going to go back. I'm going to keep trying it all winter long.
The same way as mine.
3.8.
Yeah, my first one for the year there. She pulled name out. Oh, Sophia pulled my name. Oh, yeah, when Brian won. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
For your giveaway.
That's right. Yeah, the giveaway. That's right. Which is funny because I didn't know who that was because he changed his name. So that's cool. Pond Predator says he's partial to the Ned rig and the Helgamite.
John, I hope you can actually hear me on there. It better be working. I did say hi back.
So Logan says, oh, he's talking to Nance. Yeah, Logan, I'd say Nance has got it figured out over there.
Kincaid can be extremely rough this time of year. We both fish that lake quite a bit, and it can be tough in the winter.
Yeah, I haven't fished it. Like, this is the second time I've actually fished it in the winter.
Winter,
I usually
yeah.
do early spring, and then I'll do some in the summer, just a little bit in the summer.
Yeah, I went over there. It's been a couple years ago. I did a lot of mapping.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's a cool lake. I need to learn it. It's a lot different than Cedar.
Oh yeah.
To me, anyway, it doesn't fish the same.
Let's see, Jeremy, I'm hoping to get into some tournament fishing this spring. My wife loves to fish just as much as we're going to join the U.S. Bassin team. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Oh, definitely, man. That's my wife actually fished with me probably, I don't know, for a couple of years there. We usually do Lake of the Ozarks tournament every year. It's just more of a kind of a getaway vacation for a weekend, and we fish it together. So it works out pretty good. Yeah,
that's great if your wife would fish with you. Yeah, I think you'll like that USA Bassin, Jeremy. It's real affordable. It's about $60 a tournament. They've got several different divisions.
Was it 35 to join?
It's
No.
30. I think it's 30 to join, 30 for an annual membership, and then it's $60 a team. And sometimes they do a side pot, but I think that 60 includes a big bass as well. So I mean, $60 is not that much to jump in a tournament, and it's a good group of guys for the most part. Hey, what's up, John? How many hooks on an A-rig for Cedar? I think it's 2, John. You can go to the DNR page in Illinois and check that. I'm pretty sure it's 2 in Illinois and 3 in Missouri. As far as I know, you can still fish a 5-arm rig. You just have to put 3 dummy baits on there.
Oh, I got Radicky over here ripping on me already.
Is he? He's sneaking in there.
Yeah.
Some Clearwater tips. Huh? I've never been on Clearwater, Mike.
Yeah. You know, the funny part is I don't remember him catching anything either.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys fished together, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
It was a bad deal. Let's see, way over here. It says, I don't know. I don't understand 2 hooks on an A-rig. Jerkbait has 3 trebles. Illinois is 2 lines in the water. Yeah, that was strictly something to do with the Alabama rig. When that thing really blew up, probably been, 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
At least 10 years ago, probably. But when that thing really blew up, I mean, that's when they really started looking down on the Alabama rig and making all the different stipulations for everywhere. Like I said, every place is different. State has their own policy on it, but you also have to look at different lakes too, because different lakes are different. I know, like Missouri, I think is only
It's 3 hooks.
3 hooks, yeah. But some lakes you can only have 2 on, so you really have to watch on some of them.
Yeah, like in Illinois, Egypt, you can fish 5 hooks. Kincaid, you can. Rend, I think. And there's 2 more. I think maybe Newton. I'm not sure. I did an A-rig video not too long ago, and I talked about that. I kind of looked it up to research it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, and another thing with the 2 lines in Illinois, a lot of those states have you can only fish with 2 poles at a time or 3 poles at a time. And I'm pretty sure Missouri you can only fish with three poles at one time. So if you're catfishing, you can only throw out 3 poles.
Mm-hmm.
So they just transferred that over to the A-rig with 3 hooks. That's where that comes from in a lot of states.
Well, looks like Moccasin finally made it in here.
What's up, Moccasin? See, we had Pond Predators from Kentucky and Randy's in South Carolina. What's going on in South Carolina? What kind of water temps you got over there? Bill wants to know what's a good spring bait on Kincaid. What's something you've had decent luck with?
Spring bait? Definitely a swim jig.
Yeah.
Typically over there, I'm a big white chartreuse guy on swim jigs, but over there the water's pretty dang clear. If it's a little bit muddied up from boat traffic, stuff like that, I'll stick with that. But most of the time I'm going with a bluegill pattern over there.
Yeah. It's for me, it depends on the water temperature and the water color. You know, we've been getting a lot of rain in the wintertime the last 3 years, so the water's been really stained over there.
Yeah.
I flip a jig a lot over there. I flip some kind of soft plastics on a light Texas rig. For covering water, I'd be throwing a spinnerbait most likely, or a crankbait. You know, something shallow, maybe flat side crankbait or something.
What is your favorite place to fish?
Sophia Montgomery. I know her. Where is your favorite place to fish?
I can name yours.
I'm gonna have to go with Cedar Lake, Sophia. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
I would probably, I don't know, it's, 3-4 years ago, I'd have said Kentucky, like, hands down.
Yeah, me too, I think.
But I've really, really started liking Lake of the Ozarks. Just because of the different, there's so many different ways you can fish there, and there's so much water you can fish there. You're never crowded or nothing like that. It's kind of like Kentucky Lake, but I don't know. But our fishing docks is probably one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I like there.
Yeah, it's a shame we got Egypt over there that has all these docks, but we can't fish them. If you guys don't know about Lake of Egypt, it's over in southern Illinois, and they have plenty of docks, but they have a lake rule where you're not allowed to cast within 10 feet of a dock. So it's like looking at a big juicy laydown and not being able to pitch up in there. It's tough. It is tough.
And having a guardian at the gate sitting there watching you out their back window the entire time.
Yeah, there are a few people, they're guard dogs, and they will come out and bark at you. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
So Jeremy says, awesome guys, I really do appreciate the advice. If it wasn't for your guys' videos, I would be lost on a lot of stuff. Well, man, we appreciate that. I'm glad it's helping out. We just like sharing what little bit we know with you guys. What's up, Jack? Jack has got the coolest mustache, man, ever.
Jack?
Yeah, man.
Jack
nice fat stash. I've always been impressed by your mustache, Jack.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
do you use any kind of gel or anything up there to get it all fluffy? Whatever you do, man, it's got to be a secret. So keep it up. Good work.
John says, what size treble hooks would you use suggested for snagging fish? Well, I'm hoping you're talking carp and suckers. I don't even know what size you call them anymore. Those big snagging hooks.
Yeah, they're like 12-aught or 14-aught.
Something. Yeah, it's outrageous. I have one downstairs that I actually keep from my pond just for limbs and stuff that get stuck over there and drag them out. Or if my boat occasionally floats off, I can usually cast out there and hook it.
Right. I did that in our pond. We have a 5-acre little lake pond in the back of our house. And I told Greg this, but it turned over one year and we have these 30 to 50 pound carp in there, grass carp. And all the fish were dying. We were just trying to get all the fish out so we could start over. And I rigged up one of those big old treble hooks on probably 1 ounce weight, 50 pound test and a big old musky rod. And we were throwing across those things and snagging them. It was a blast. I think we caught about 15 of them. We had them all laid out in the bank. We needed to get them out of there. There was way too many in there. And there's still several in there, but I don't remember exactly what size hook that was. I'll just go with big, really big. Bill says he has the VPS 100-mile-an-hour gear and loves it. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about that too. I got a friend that Jonathan. And I think his brother has that same outfit and they've had good luck with it. Chris, see where you at? We're up here, Chris wants to know has anybody got their hands on the tactical bass crankbait and fished them? I haven't.
I'll say I heard they were still back ordered yet to like March.
Last I saw in March. That was a couple weeks ago when I looked. I asked for one for Christmas, but it did not show up. So
you probably delivered a few of them and didn't even know.
I think I did. Yeah, I had a couple boxes that shook and they sounded like that's exactly what was in there.
Sorry, okay.
Jack says lizard. Lizard's a good bait. That's I don't fish that as much anymore. I used to.
That's probably one of the biggest plastics I ever started off with.
Yeah.
Black lizard, chartreuse tail. I don't ever throw it anymore though.
I remember fishing a club tournament at Horseshoe Lake. This is probably like 6 or 7 years ago. But the guy that won it caught a 510 out of there. He was throwing a black lizard with white polka dots on it. It was one of those, I think it was a cream or something. It was an old bag and he just put it on there. So, everybody in the club was browsing the internet for black lizards with white polka dots on them. And they're not out there. That's my lizard story.
Lizard story?
Yep.
All right, so on here okay on the A-rig. Do you ever set up for monster bass in the fall, early spring, like March? I like jig slow.
Yeah, I fish a jig. Yeah, I guess most of the time I'm fishing jig pretty slow, John. That's what you're asking. Unless it's a swim jig, then I'm obviously casting it out. Do you work a swim jig? Do you just throw it out pretty much and reel it in, or do you stop it, shake it? Do you do that?
I'm a constant. I know, with the trailers they have now, they've got a lot of movement with them to begin with. But I'm constantly pumping,
Yeah.
stop, pump, stop. I constantly change that cadence, but I always have some type of movement there.
Yeah, I think that's critical.
Now, if they're very, very aggressive, I like, let's say the spawn, for instance. I really like to burn it over the beds real quick and just kill it. Split second, fast, and kill it. And that usually strikes pretty good hard hits.
Yeah. Yeah, or anytime you're coming past some cover and you can kill it next to that cover. You do the same thing with the spinner bait.
Yeah.
Just any kind of erratic motion seems to get them excited.
Yeah, definitely.
What's up, Anders? Anders Homemade Crafts. Good to see you on there. Okay, yeah, Jack was saying the lizard in the spring at Kincaid. I've heard that from a couple people.
Let's say Anglers Handmade Crafts. That is actually stands for Back Yard Bassin, and that is 10-horse Monty.
Yep. And he's got the bigger bass. I got the smaller bass. But I'm okay because he caught both of them.
It was not meant that way.
Just the way they're facing.
Yeah.
I would bring, if I had a bigger bass, I'd bring it up here, but I don't.
Catch up here. Spring let's see, Mark says, in the spring, a big spinner bait with a Colorado blade is just under the water.
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
Mark. I agree 100%. Pretty fond of that.
Any tips for fishing small 25 to 40 acre lakes covered in pads? Frog, I would say Texas rig baits, any kind of punching weight or punching setups. Really not like.
You know what? I've heard night fishing on those lakes. I was just thinking, obviously, Duck Creek is a lake that's close to us. It has a lot of pads, and those guys down there. It's probably is it pretty clear water, Brian? Most of those are pretty clear water. If so, night fishing might be a good option, as long as the snakes aren't too bad.
This guy just joined.
Skip, I never heard of Skip. Skip Schroeder.
Skip.
Yeah. I bet he's from Crump. Big County Crump. The metropolitan area Crump.
Yeah.
I heard they've been catching them out of Gerardo Skip. And little dinkers, but they're fun to catch. Moxon's got one for you.
Oh, I sent him our coordinates. You see it right down here?
Going to happen.
You just make Moxon, you just make sure you follow those coordinates. They're spot on.
What's up, Aaron? Glad you could stop by. Still at work. Gotta love the overtime. Jeez. Yeah.
You're gonna need it paying for that new boat, man.
That's right. I saw that.
Yeah. So Aaron got himself a brand new Triton Patriot. It's a pretty boat too.
Yeah, it's like, what is it, blue or purple? Blue. Yeah.
It's the Oklahoma first hanger. I use a 12-aught barbless with a 2 to 3 ounce weight for snagging spoonbill.
There you go. That'd get them, man.
Yep.
What are you throwing that on, Oklahoma? You throwing that on braid, I guess? Probably like 85-pound braid or something. Maybe not. I don't know. You would not be able to cut and break a 80-pound braid off.
No. I'm just doing a fishing lure on my channel right now.
Okay, Anders. Yeah, he's got a channel. Go check that out. I'll check it out later.
Yeah. If you have time, yeah.
John says, Table Rock down by Baxter's and Kimberlin City Bridge area. Next would be Cedar. I guess that's probably his favorite places to fish. Yeah, that's funny, John. I'm fishing the BFL Ozark division this year, so I'll be seeing Table Rock twice this year. We usually stay out of, can't remember the creek that we stay in. A friend of mine's got a little setup down there, and it's close to Kimberlin City, but I'll be spending a little bit of time on that water. I haven't been down there a whole lot. It's a kind of an intimidating lake with all the standing timber, and it gets so deep, and water's really clear, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
So I see Aaron is already turning on me here. Told Moxon for the right price, he'll find me the spots on my video.
Yeah, Jeremy, Horseshoe Lake in Illinois, it's dead right now. You know, that actually, believe it or not, that used to be a very good fishery. I'm talking like 20 years ago. Well, pre-Asian carp, honestly. Once the Asian carp got in there, it's kind of messed things up. You can still catch some good crappie. You don't catch as many, but when you catch them, they're really nice, you know, 13, 14, 15-inch crappie. There's a guy on my route. Actually, there's 2 guys on my route that go over there quite a bit, and they catch some nice crappie. But the bass fishing's not the greatest over there.
Yeah. So Brian answered us back here. He said it was clear to slightly stain. I throw flukes and frogs, mostly with a Texas rig on the edges. I haven't punched through them much, but want to do more of that this year.
Yep.
Yeah, Brian, definitely. If you've got that big of forage on top and everything else, punching is going to be one of your number 1 setups. Now, remember when you're punching, don't go with the biggest, heaviest weight you possibly can. Go with just enough weight to get you through without having to bounce it. Mm-hmm. That's usually your comfortable zone. You know, you don't want a bunch of weight because a lot of fish are going to pick it up and just kind of drop it every now and then. But if you go a little bit lighter weight, that'll help you out a little bit too.
And another thing, Brian, you might want to try is like try that Tokyo rig or like a power shot rig, almost like a drop shot on braid. Because a lot of those ponds that have that, a lot of lily pads and stuff, they have a real silty bottom. So you don't want to get that, that bait covered up in the bottom. So get something where you got to wait, and then you got something up off the bottom. Because fish can see that stuff a lot better.
Yeah, and another thing, Brian, too, you want to make sure you peg that weight. Don't go in there without it pegged, because you're constantly going to be fighting between all the forage and everything else with your baits and
punching. You're talking about, yeah, definitely.
And actually, I've got a video on that too. If you go look back at my earlier videos on pegging weights, it explains that a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here, where we at?
Kincaid is only so big. So.
Oh, he's talking to Moxon about giving up my spots.
Oh, okay. So Tom says there's 2 horseshoe lakes in Illinois, one in Granite City, another one deep southern Illinois. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, deep southern Illinois. It's down by Cairo. It's actually in Olive Branch is the name of the town that horseshoe is in.
Aaron said the boat color is Nassau blue.
Nassau blue, man.
It's blue. It's pretty.
It's fancy. What's up, RB, my man? Big Fish RBT.
Keith Combs,
dude. You know what's funny, RB, is I fished the Toyota Owners Tournament down there at Pickwick this year, and we were doing the live well check where all the boats go by, and all the Toyota pros were standing out there. You had Gerald Swindle out there, Ott Defoe, Brian Airy, and let's see, Ike Anelli, all those guys were out there, Terry Scroggins. And as we idled by, I was on the passenger side, and Matt Airy says, "Man, is that Keith Combs?" And I said, "Dude, I get it all the time. I need to have a shirt that says I'm not Keith Combs." I said, "If I was, I'd be standing up there on the dock with you watching all these people go by." But so I'm still getting that RB. RB's a good dude, man. We fished BFLs down in Kentucky Lake.
Awesome.
So
see Oklahoma's worst name over here. Always answering your question about Swindle.
Oh, he's throwing 65-pound braid. Okay.
With an 8,000 size reel.
Good God. So that's a saltwater reel. 10-foot meat hunter rod, man. That's
huge.
It sounds like it's going to get it
Full Honor Bass said that Alex is going for jaws.
That's pretty intense, man. Wow. You could pull an old car up or something.
Yeah, no kidding.
What's up, RWA? Guys, go check out RWA's fishing, man. He's got the greatest laugh. I love his laugh. It's awesome.
What's your thoughts on the Shimano Crowd DC? You haven't thrown it?
No, I haven't thrown it. You got any thoughts on it?
I threw it. I really don't have any complaints on that reel. It's an excellent reel. I know there are a lot of guys out there that will tell you, "Oh, DC is just for younger people and this and that, learn how to fish." And I'll be flat out honest with you. You can take that reel out. As long as you set it up right, you can throw just about anything you want. Spinnerbaits in the wind was a big, big plus for me. You could still bomb that spinnerbait, even in the wind, and not have to worry about getting all mangled up with a nest. The other thing is anytime I do a lot of underhand flipping in docks and stuff like that. And I can tell you with that reel is perfect for that. I mean, you can skip right underneath those docks and it don't spool up on you or nothing. So if you're learning or wanting to learn how to skip, that would definitely be a reel I would suggest for you.
Yeah.
Don't have to have a whole lot of setup time for it.
That's the rule. You let me cast that out in the pond not too long ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
Same one? Yeah. Yeah, it did a good job. Smooth.
Yeah, you could bomb that thing. It's amazing, but let's see.
Oklahoma's worst angler says his biggest last year was 45 pounds. Trying to double that. God, how big do those things get, Oklahoma's worst angler? I had one. I was running across Barkley Lake. It's been several years ago. We were running about 65 miles an hour, and one jumped up. No, we were on Kentucky. We were running up north, and one jumped up about 50 yards in front of the boat, and we almost smashed it. Did you see that big spoon just come up? You know, you wouldn't think a fish that big can get airborne, but they can. They get some air.
No worse than the Asian carp, I guess.
No,
They'll fly into you,
yeah,
too.
they're dangerous too.
So let's see.
Looks like they're talking back and forth. Oh, the horseshoe at Granite City has Asian carp in it too. Man, anything, yeah, exactly. Anything that the Mississippi River gets in, it's going to have carp eventually.
He's talking back to Jeremy Moxon. I've been to some lakes that I was unfamiliar with, tons of standing timber, I'm guessing. With that much cover, it's easy to get spun out. What do you do in that situation? Focus more on depth or find a pattern? Well,
so Truman, Table Rock and Truman come to mind. Yeah, a lot of times in that situation, I'm going to throw, I've thrown a square bill in there, caught some fish. In the mornings, I'm still throwing, even though that water is really deep, like let's say you're in Table Rock, you can still catch them on top water because they'll be suspended right on those trees. I've caught them throwing a light shaky head and just letting it fall down on slack line around those trees. Let's see, did I say square bill or something that gets down there about 6 to 8 foot? Depends on where the fish are sitting at, but pitching a jig, pitching a 10-inch worm will work sometimes. Swimming a 10-inch worm, do that stuff. What do you got for that?
Well, I would have to say I deal with that a lot at Kincaid, over where the standing timber is.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And that's one of the things that I see guys go in there all the time with, jigs constantly, or, a brush hog or crawls, something that everybody else is throwing. That's typically where I throw something that I don't have a lot of confidence in, something that nobody else is throwing, something that maybe an old bait, that doesn't get thrown as much anymore, stuff like that. I want to get outside that box and throw something different from what everybody else is throwing. We talked a little bit about it a couple weeks ago. We had somebody talking about, throwing something, I think it was a bait or something that everybody else is throwing. But the one thing you have to realize is let's say I throw just a plain ribbon tail worm with a 1/4 ounce weight, and I'm throwing that all day and everybody else is throwing that, that's one time you can actually drop your weight down significantly and try that slower fall, that different fall to them. That will usually trigger bites too.
Or faster.
Or faster, yeah.
Go
Just something different that those fish are not seeing and not relating to. So anytime you can change it up like that will definitely help.
So what do we have?
Aaron wants to know if he can throw some free advertising.
Throw it.
You all right with that one?
Sure.
Yeah. So
what's the proper technique for using blasting cast for winter fishing? I don't know, man.
And just to let you guys know, we were talking about that spoon wander. Oklahoma's Worst Angler's got a channel. If you guys want to go check out, he said he's got a couple of videos of spoonbill catches on his channel, so might be worth going and checking.
Yeah, I'll go check that out. That's pretty interesting. I've actually caught one of those. I was fishing in the diversion channel with a minnow on a float, and I caught a spoonbill. It was only about that big.
I've never caught one, but
yeah, he didn't actually have it in his mouth. But he had it on the bill right outside of his mouth. I don't know if he just swam into it or what.
One of the strangest ones I've ever caught was actually at the Mississippi River catfishing. I caught a sturgeon.
Oh, did I? I've caught a sturgeon too out there.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
I've caught an eel too. You ever caught
Oh
one?
yeah,
Yeah.
God, those things are nasty.
Yeah, I caught about a 4-footer, man. They actually fight really good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You get up and then they pull back, and it seems like they never come in.
Yeah, they're pretty nasty, that's for sure.
Oklahoma's worst singer said state record is a triple digit, I believe. Holy jeez.
Like I said before, I fought that 38-pound carp in my pond. I couldn't imagine fighting something like that.
Yeah.
Your arms were burning by that time.
Mauricio made it in here.
What's going on, man? He should be almost stateside here shortly.
Hank's talking about the tarpon down here. Man, I want to catch a tarpon on the fly sometime, Hank. That's on my bucket list.
I'd love to go tarpon fishing, but every time I see somebody tarpon fishing, they're constantly trying to get away from sharks.
Yeah.
That'd be the one thing that'd be aggravating is to wait, 3 or 4 or 5 hours for them tarpon to go back in with the tide or however that works down there. I don't know. And then they finally get on a bite and then they got sharks everywhere that are chasing their fish.
Yeah, that's a different world down in the ocean. It's like a dog-eat-dog world. For John Picks says, how would you attack an old silted-in reservoir? Well, that can be tough. Top water bite in the morning, probably. Something that's probably up off the bottom. Depends on what kind of cover. If you got a lot of wood and stuff, I go with a spinnerbait or a swim jig. If I was going to fish on the bottom, if it's really silted in, I would, probably throw a drop shot or some kind of wacky rig that's falling down slow. But yeah, those can be tough. I mean, I would try to find something hard. Look for any kind of drop off, any kind of edge or a hard spot.
There you go, table rock, try to small. Then pumpkin centipede.
Centipede. Okay. Thanks, John. John says I need to be trying a centipede when I go down there. What's up, Bassin Mike? THM. I am new to Southwest Illinois lakes. 3 best tips. I'm from Missouri, originally Lake of the Ozarks, Table Rock, and Twain. Easy for me to catch bass there. Grass is tough. Suggestions. Yeah, you know what? I feel the same way about where you're coming from. It took me, well, it's still taking me time to get used to all that rock. I'm so used to fishing grass.
Yeah, you finally hit rocks in our grass lakes, and it's a big deal. There's fish
You
there.
think you're getting a bite when you hit a rock around here on a lot of these lakes. I got a little experience on Kentucky Lake over the last 4 or 5 years, and it's got a lot of rock and shell and stuff. But the obvious answer is once the grass gets up and starts matting out, I do a lot of punching and I do a lot of frog fishing. And then
they fish frogs for about 10 months out of the year, really.
Yeah, you can start once the fish spawn. Well, you can catch them on spawn too, above the beds and stuff. But usually about mid-May, you'll start seeing some mats in the southern Illinois area, and those mats will stay good all the way through November for the most part. In the spring, it's the same thing as where you're from. You'll be throwing a lot of moving baits. If you don't have too much grass, you can get by with the crankbait. But I throw a lot of spinner baits, a lot of swim jigs, stuff like that. But just think of that grass. Think of the edge as the edge of a dock or a drop off. It's an edge, and those bass use that. They're either a little bit off that edge or sitting right on that edge, or they're inside a lot of times. So typically everything almost revolves around those edges most of the time. I mean, they'll still get out. They'll still use those drops and stuff out off points. So I hope that helps a little bit. Time on the water. Which someday I'm going to talk about my time on the water theory. We don't have time now, but I've been thinking about this theory of time on the water and the cycle of life. It's kind of deep, so we'll stay where we're at for this.
Better make that an in-depth.
Yeah, an in-depth. I'm going to do a video on it, yeah.
All right, where you at?
Did you see this one?
What's that? Doug, do you think moccasin lures will make a spinnerbaits or chatterbaits in the future? Doug, I will let him answer that. That is, that's completely up to him. That's his company and everything. So I'm sure if you give him a little bit, he'll probably answer you.
Swimmo Fishing says, my table rock advice is pick up a swim bait. So a finesse swim bait or a bigger swim bait, that was one of the things I was going to definitely mess around with. throwing like a small grub or like a 2.8 Kitech, something in that 3-inch range. He said, don't put it down. Okay. I will definitely have that in the arsenal.
White Whale says, what's going on? What we talking about?
Man, we're talking about everything, Whitewall. Just a smorgasbord right now. We're talking about snagging spoonbill, throwing little baby swim baits, silted in reservoirs.
What ones are 6? Hell, I accidentally snagged a 25-pounder when I was fishing for sand bass on a bass rod and reel. If it went on a run, it about spooled me out. So I had to fight it. And try not to lose on my line. Yeah, I bet 25-pound, them things I would imagine fight pretty dang hard. I've never caught one, but I would imagine they fight pretty dang hard, especially with that big old spoon on the front of their face.
Heck yeah. It's a lot of meat you're trying to pull through the water. See, Tom says, I think one problem when people get spun out is they can't slow down. They're so eager to get a bite, they won't take a deep breath and slow down.
You nailed it.
That's right up there with what I was just talking about time on the water. That's a whole other topic, especially in a tournament. The first couple of hours of the morning, you're pretty relaxed. You catch a few fish and things are going good. And then as that clock starts ticking in the back of your head, you realize you got to make something happen. And yeah, you can get spun out. You can start changing the colors on your jerk baits. You can start changing jig colors, jig trailers. And you have a tendency to move fast. And a lot of times it's, God, that's like the $1 million question or whatever. Do you stay or do you go? And there's really no good answer. I would say that the more you do it, the more you got to go with your gut on that stuff. And that's why the pros are so good, because they've got so many hours in those situations that they real comfortable. They don't get spun out as much. But yeah, it's easy to get spun out, isn't it?
Yeah, especially, and that's one thing I will tell you, just in the last 10, 12 years that I've been fishing tournaments, that will happen a lot, especially your first probably 5, 6, 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of one thing we were going to go over tonight was, being co-angler and stuff like that. That's one thing when you're a co-angler, because when you start off, typically most people don't have their own boats. That's how they kind of get into tournament fishing, is going with somebody else or whatever. But your first couple of years, I hear people all the time like, I could outfish you and then I could outfish them, in a tournament. They don't understand. There's a lot of variables that go into tournaments. You're going out on any given day. It doesn't matter what the weather is, or if there was a cold front the day before, if it's raining, if it's snow, whatever. There's all different kinds of things that go wrong. And then you've got a guy in front of you that's catching fish left and right and you can't get a bite. That's just one thing you really got to learn to deal with the first couple of years until you start learning those different things. And like, was it Tom that said a while ago, about slowing down? That's probably one of the first big things you'll learn out of tournament fishing, is learn to slow yourself down.
Yep. So if you're in a productive area and there's bass in that area, just like you said, Tom, it's about slowing down. There's a battle going on inside your head all the time. You're out there on the water. Unless you're just throwing worms on a bobber, and that's pretty easy.
Usually a 2.8 to a 3.5 range swimmer. That's for speed shad.
Okay.
He's putting on underspin head, ready to take. The blade and underspin seem to make a difference. Now, how much do you throw the underspin?
I throw it quite a bit. Yeah, I do. I started throwing that underspin probably like 3 or 4 years ago. And usually it's in late May and June where I do it the most. Those fish have spawned, and some of these lakes around here, they'll pull out almost points, and you can find those schools. All of a sudden, you just start seeing schools of bass out there, and man, you can crush them on that thing in the right situation. I don't fish it that much. I should fish it more right now, and I may that since that was brought up.
So now you bring it up, I got a question for you. When you're throwing the underspin, are your underspins the one you stick into the plastics? Or are they up on the front of the hook?
It's a jig head.
It's a jig head with the underspin right at the front.
Sure, yeah, it's attached to the jig head,
right. Have you tried any of the ones you stick to the plastic? Or
yes.
You can go on the hook and go farther down the plastic. Have you had better luck with those or with the ones on the jig head?
I've spent more time with the ones on the jig head, but I do have the ones that have the keeper, and you just screw it in. Say like a 5 or 6 inch swim bait, you just screw it right in the belly. I've thrown those, caught a few fish, but most of the time I'm fishing like that little skinny dipper or a small fluke, small Kitech or something on that underspin, and it's mostly for schooling bass.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's almost always the traditional underspin. But those little underspins that the little screw lock things, you can throw those in the back of a Cinco.
Yeah.
You can put them on just about anything.
The reason I was asking is because I've tried them farther back, and in my opinion, I thought I caught a lot of the smaller buck bass doing that than if they were up towards the head.
Really, that's interesting.
And I don't know if it was because they were coming at the back of it
Uh-huh.
and trying to get the little bait fish, what they thought was a little bait fish,
Yeah.
or if they were actually going after the bait I was throwing.
Did it mess up the paddle much or not?
No, I didn't go all the way back.
Okay.
I mean, like 3/4 of the way back.
Okay.
So it was probably like that much in front of the table. So
Okay.
I don't know. It was weird because I would switch it and I'd go back up to the front and I'd catch like the little bit bigger fish in that school.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
So I don't know if it was just a fluke deal or what was going on, but it felt kind of odd.
That's very interesting.
Let's see.
See, White Whale Fishing says water was 30s with ice and spots, and they were chasing moving baits. What's he talking? He might be talking about a video or something.
Oh no, right here. Caught a few today.
Oh, okay. I missed that. I've never thrown that. What's that called? Akashira?
No, I haven't done either.
I'm definitely not pronouncing that right.
8-ounce swim bait head with a prop blade. It's like a spy bait.
Oh,
And a
wow.
swim bait had a baby. I haven't thrown.
It's a cute baby. Yeah, no wonder you caught some fish on that. I haven't thrown that. I need to check it out. I guess I need to make a spot in my tackle box if I get anything else. See, RWA Fishing says, on paddle tail swim baits, I've come to favor the belly weighted EWG style hooks. He says he fishes a lot of pads, grass, and algae. So that could help. I can't remember who was asking that question about the pond fit lily pads. That might be something.
No, Brian McCoy over here on
Okay,
Facebook
that's
side.
right. Yeah, Brian. There you go. That RWA got something for you there.
So let's see, we got he was talking to White Whale.
Chris is talking about Bash University.
Don't look close enough for that university. So
You can listen to their podcast. I listen to the Bash University podcast all the time. Pete Galusik and Brian the Carpenter. It's the Ike Live guys.
Yeah.
It's they
filled with information.
Yeah, it's great. I went to one of those a long time ago. You ever been to one?
I've
of
never
those?
been to them. No.
Yeah, I went to one at it was down in Springfield, Missouri. This has been like 10 years ago. This was actually back when David Fritz was still. He wasn't in his peak, but he was still around a lot more than he is now. And I got to eat lunch with David Fritz, sit right across from him. He had his big pouch of Red Man chewing tobacco, and he's a nice guy. It's pretty cool. You can just mingle with all those dudes, and they're just normal people like everybody else. It's a good time. Lots of information though.
Now, guys, we did plan on doing the co-angler side of things. So if you guys have any questions about the co-angler side, we can definitely hit on some of that. I know we're kind of caught up on comments here, so.
Or video, and we talked about
videoing,
YouTube.
yeah, starting with
stuff
YouTube.
too. That's he was talking about getting spun out earlier, and that's something that when you go out on the water and you're doing a video, you're trying to get some fish catches, but at the same time, at least this is what I do. I want to do like a fishing report, talk about the water temperatures, the day, the water color. But you'll find yourself looking to catch fish too, and you can't get spun out if, say, you fish for several hours and you're not getting bit. You feel that clock ticking, because a lot of times I've only got 3 hours. I go over in the morning on my day off, and I got to be back to pick up my kids from school. So I got a limited amount of time over there. So I've got to make it happen fast. And the way my mind works is I'm always wanting to try different techniques. So I'll usually spend half of my time trying different techniques, maybe trying to fish out deep with a Demiki rig or something like that. And then I'll spend the rest of the time fishing more productive waters areas that I've got confidence in. But you can get spun out trying to make a video too. You know,
it happens a lot.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'll tell you, that's probably one of the first things I noticed was material to talk about, and what everybody else hasn't done 100 times over and everything else. But the one thing I can tell you is it's your opinion. It's your way of doing things. It may be different than 90 of the other ones, but go ahead and do it. I mean, that's the one thing that somebody else might say, hey, I'd rather try it that way. So
yeah, and it's say somebody's talking about, let's say, swim jigs. There's been 100 videos on swim jigs. Well, there may have been a little gap between the last video that somebody did, and so you can talk about it. Maybe somebody hasn't seen that video, so it's and like you said, everybody's got a little bit of a different angle, maybe different jigs that they use, things like that. So there's always a good time for information.
So let's see. All right, Moxon says, what's your thoughts on twin wire weed guards in swim bait heads? I will say right off the bat, I'm not a fan of them.
Yeah.
And I guess I can give my reason for that. My reason being is swim jigs, I swim a lot through, let's say, brush, grass, a lot on the outside weed lines, stuff like that. And what I've noticed with those twin wire weed guards is when you're going through that stuff, a lot of times it's just not enough there. Like, especially if you're fishing grass, it will constantly go down in between them and grab.
That's right. Yeah, if I'm fishing grass with a swim bait, I'm Texas rigging it. I'm putting that belly weight on there. A lot of times I don't put any weight on there.
Oh, Tackle Box TV, you know that guy?
I do know that guy. I remember that guy. Yeah.
Don't worry, Nate. I knew who you were.
What's up, Big Nate? I need to come down there and see that new child of yours. You can pick up my jerk baits too. You paying me up some jerk baits. They're just sitting down there.
Sure. It's made by Megabass Realistic Shaped Head. Aaron Martin's marketed it a few years back. In addition to prop blade was introduced last year. Huh. Now, I'm not a big, huge Megabass guy.
I think I've seen that now that he says that. Yeah.
Not that I don't like him, it's just simple fact that I haven't messed with him much. But
Maxim Paz. Thanks, man.
His lesser known series is the best. Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen much of that lately either. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's slacking off.
Man, it's hard enough to catch fish on the more known stuff right now.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a tough time of year. So.
You know what? Now that you say that, I think I'm going to go over there and fish Grassy Lake. I think that would qualify as a lesser known lake because I don't know it. I haven't fished it a whole lot. Maybe it's not a lesser known, but Devil's Kitchen maybe. Yeah. I was thinking about getting over there.
You did Legion, right?
I did Legion. Yeah, I did Legion. I had several people recommend certain lakes. Some of them in Missouri, about 2.5 hours away. And I do plan. Yeah, when it warms up, I'll definitely be doing some more of those lesser knowns because I enjoy that, man. You learn a lot about those lakes. I need to go back up there to Pyramid State Park again because I think there was like 50 lakes up there and I only got to fish 2 of them. So that's on the list too.
Okay. John's heading out. Thanks for the questions, John.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it, man.
Good to hear from you, buddy. Appreciate it. So Tackle Box TV says, well, come on. So you're talking about topics for videos and stuff. Now, do you prefer to do? You're going to be doing some stuff out on the water probably this spring and stuff. So you used to be doing fishing, and you're going to tie in like some techniques and stuff with it.
My plan is to do a little bit of fishing and actually, like, say, I'll do my introduction or whatever at the lake,
sure,
and then I'm going to go through and I'll probably do this year. The one thing I struggled with last year. And I tell you, anybody who's starting off YouTube, this is a really good point here. If you go out and you plan on fishing for, let's say, it's 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, and you're wanting to do a video, try to break that video up. I did not do that last year, and I should have. because you can go out there and fish. If you're on fishing, they're biting good, you can knock out 3 or 4 videos pretty easy. Do one on, let's just say, your favorite Texas red bait. Do one on your favorite crankbait. Do one on a jig. Do one on a topwater. Just you can cover a lot of different things in one day and save that material. That's something I didn't do. I didn't know anything about, and I wish I would have. But going into this year, I will have a lot of footage that I can actually save up. And going through next winter, I will actually have fishing videos to actually post.
Right. Yeah, I've done a few videos where I went out just to do like a lake report. And for instance, one that's coming to mind is I did a hair jig video. It's been a couple months ago, where I just started fishing this point. And I saw these suspended fish, and my goal was to try to figure out how to catch those suspended fish, because those are the hardest ones to catch. And I started throwing that hair jig around, and I caught one, and then I caught another one. And so that video, that just morphed into a hair jig video. It just made sense to talk about fishing a hair jig because it was the perfect scenario that just kind of presented itself. So that's a lot of times that's going to happen. You'll just be out there catching them on a jig really good, and you're like, this is a perfect time to talk about what jig I'm throwing, how I'm throwing it, where I'm throwing it at, and why it's working. Some days you can't. You only catch one on a jig, one on a
right. And it's always different, yeah. And like Moxon said, he goes, bring different shirts. That way you look different on the boat every time.
I know, man. I'm bad about that.
Here's a really good question for you, mostly, because you're the one that fishes a lot of southern lakes, a lot more than I do. And a lot of these, before we even get into this, a lot of lakes that we fishing are going to be 9-9 lakes. So that does make a big difference on how you're going to set that boat up. But I'll let Gabe kind of explain that.
So what was the question there?
If you were setting up a new boat for the small lakes in southern Illinois, what would you choose? And he said electronics, etc.
Okay, that's a great question, man. Yeah, that's right up my alley. Well, I just got a new boat. I got an Express 1650. My current boat, or my old boat, what I'm calling my old boat now, is the boat that you've seen in all the videos, was a Lumacraft 1442, and that was a great boat. That boat runs. It's got a Nissan 99 on there. That boat runs about 20 to 21 with me in it, and it runs about 17 with another 200-pound person in there.
So 16 with me.
Yeah, so right, 15 with Greg. Yeah. But that's a good size to start with. That's the minimal size. Let me say that's the minimum size. I bought this other boat because my boat was I'm ready for a new boat. I've just been fishing out of that boat forever. I just wanted something new, and I started fishing a lot more team tournaments. So I wanted a little more room in the boat. So I went to that 16-foot, and it's a welded boat. My old boat was a riveted boat, which I haven't had any problems with the rivets. Some people shy away from that stuff. It scares them, but I don't know. I just ran across the boat that I got. I ran across it. I wanted a welded one, but I haven't had any problems with rivets. So as far as a trolling motor on that size boat, you want at least a 55-pound thrust if you're going 12 volt. If you're going with the 24 volt, the one I just got has an 82-pound thrust on there. Electronics, at least a 9-inch screen. If you're going to buy it, save up. You need, in my opinion, you need at least a 9-inch screen. Lowrance, I would probably get Humminbird, honestly. I run all Lowrance. Yeah, I got a Lowrance, but that's just what I started out with. It's kind of like Ford, Chevy, Dodge, whatever you buy first, you have a tendency to just buy that same product over and over.
I've got Lowrance too, but looking at the Humminbirds, the picture on them and the clarity is so much better.
They're pretty nice, Of course, you got Garmin with the live scope and all that. Mm-hmm. That's something, all this stuff's starting to add up. It's getting real pricey. But back to the original question, if I was just going to buy a boat, I would get a 16-foot, 52-inch across the bottom, and I'd get a Tohatsu or Suzuki 9.9. You can play around with those motors, and that's a great boat. I put a front deck in there with some storage, have your small live well. A lot of guys make a live well out of the cooler. I personally don't like that because it's in the way. You got a deck, and then you got this floor space, and then you got a bench seat. I put a little back deck in there, and that cooler's right in the way. It works, it's quick. But what I'm planning on doing, I'm going to be doing a bunch of mods to my boat. I'll take that rear bench seat, and this is what I did on my old boat, and I cut that out. And you can buy a plastic container on eBay. There's some of these big companies that buy or that make plastic stuff of different sizes. And you can find the right size container that will fit down inside that bench seat. You can use spray foam to capture it in there and keep it in there, and you can make a live well out of that in that bench seat, put a lid on it, and then your live well is underneath decking. It's out of the way. And you still got all this room in the middle of the boat for, whatever you want. And also in that front deck, you're going to want to put some kind of storage lid in there, right now, my deck in that boat that I just bought is solid, which is a pain in the butt. The guy did a really good job on it too. I had to remove the foot pedal tray, the recessed foot pedal tray, and look underneath there. He's got bracing everywhere. But I'm going to have to cut through all that and put a lid in there so I can use all that for storage. So that was a long answer to a short question, but that's kind of what I'm looking for in a 9.9 boat.
So right here, RWA trailer.
Okay. Let's see. RWA says on trailer hooks on spinner baits, stationary or free swinging hook usually have better hookups. I put the trailer hook on there, and then I'll put a piece of plastic over that. I let that thing swing. I mean, a lot of them have the little piece of plastic around the eye, and you can hook it in. I don't know about hookup ratio. I don't know. What do you think? I don't think it really matters. I don't throw a trailer hook on spinner bait hardly ever.
Yeah,
I really don't, honestly. RWA.
The buzz baits I did for a while, just on open water. I'm trying to think of who it was. I bought some new spinner baits this past year that actually have the swinging head and the weight. Or sorry, not spinner baits, buzz baits. And I was worried about how they were going to work with as far as that head swinging down there and everything. I can tell you on a buzz bait, I had better hookup ratio with that swinging head because it actually stayed down in the water a little bit more and it wasn't up on top of the water in the way of the blade. Mm-hmm. So with that, I had better hookup ratio.
With the skirt, right? You didn't have a frog on there?
Right, just with the skirt.
Okay.
Now a spinner bait, like you said, I don't hardly ever throw a trailer on a spinner bait.
Unless you're missing a lot of fish, unless you're getting a lot of short strikes, then you can slap one on there. But now that you're saying that, I would almost think a stationary hook would keep it more streamlined and you'd be able to come through cover better with it.
Right.
But I don't know, RWA, you got an opinion on that?
All right here. Oh, there's one for you.
Richard said, received my order from Biting Baits, several jigs, look really good. Good deal, Richard. Hope those work for you. Hope you got some finesse type stuff, because that's kind of what I'm starting to lean towards right now. Council Bluff and Creve Coeur Lakes in Missouri would be some good ones for your series. Yeah, Council Bluff has been mentioned before.
Council Bluff. Oh,
yeah.
Born in Creve Coeur. Come on, I can't even think where that's at.
Creve Coeur.
I know where Creve Coeur is.
Yeah,
The
right.
Council Bluffs, I mean.
Council Bluff is, if I'm thinking of the same one,
they are.
I get these two. There's two lakes I get mixed up. So one is on the west side of, say, Ironton and Arcadia. There's a lake that I drive by on my way to Salem there, and I thought that was Council Bluff.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Is it a different one I'm thinking of?
That's not Council Bluff. That's what is the name of it? It's got a little camp there, church camp.
It's not.
It's on the left side. It's on 32.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one I always.
I don't think. I
lakes.
thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was called Wolf or.
I should know it. Every time I drive by there, I remember.
Barney Lake. Kill Barney.
No, not Killarney. I'm not talking about Killarney. Killarney's right before Fredericktown. That's an actual river. That's like a church camp area.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lake Killarney. It's
Okay,
not Killarney.
not
It's
that
on
one.
past that. You keep
Okay.
going west past there.
I'll say we always said, man, Killarney looks awesome to fish, and we just, never stopped.
It looks like it should have good smallmouth in there.
Yeah.
So where is Council Bluff? I'm pretty sure that's where it's at.
Fishing Fatman says, next I will try to accomplish is learning to edit the videos. Hopefully I can do some fishing videos. Only 17 away from 100 subs. Hope to grow bigger.
Yeah.
Dude, you'll get there, man.
Yep.
It takes time. And as far as editing, I can tell you, if you have a computer, I use, and I even showed Gabe, I use Windows Video Editor 2019. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. And I can tell you, I use Filmora now, Filmora 9. And I could do almost everything on Windows Video Editor that was free as I can on Filmora 9. Now, Fillmore 9 does have a few more options and some other stuff, but Windows Video Editor is perfect for it.
Just stay after it, Fishing Fat Man. It's just about being consistent, you know.
Yeah. Well, Florida Bass says Fishing Fat Man, you're only 14 away now.
Nice. Good work. Picasso makes a hair jig chatterbait that's great in colder water.
Have you thrown much to the Picasso?
I have not.
Yeah, neither.
I have not. Their stuff looks really good. I mean, their spinnerbaits look good. I get so, you know, I get in my little groove of things and I don't wander too much. If something's working, I don't sample too much of the other stuff. I need to do that more.
Chris Moore's Tiny Boat Nation has videos. I'm taking John boats into full bass
Oh
boats.
yeah, Tiny Boat Nation. Have you ever checked that Tiny
No,
Boat
I
Nation?
haven't.
Go check them out. Dude.
I heard that like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't even know that was a thing. I actually heard it on Oklahoma Course Anglers channel. They were talking about it. I'm like, what are you got to be kidding?
They have the craziest boats. I mean, like 12-foot V-bottom boats that these guys have just pimped out. I mean, they do all these mods. They'll put a deck from front to back, just
Really?
decking. They do LED lights, live wells. They even have like the oxygenator, and they have cooling systems where they put like 10 feet of tubing, and it goes through a cooler. They put ice on top of it so it keeps the live well cool.
That's
They do all
actually-
this stuff in small boats.
That's actually smart.
Yeah.
Because I mean, on big tournaments in the summer, I mean, absolutely, I put a thing of ice in there. The one thing I really started doing is freezing bottled water,
Yes.
and then you just
That
throw
keeps
them
the
in there.
chlorine out of the water. I
Yeah.
use G juice, man, a lot. I don't know if you've used
Well,
G juice.
I don't use the G juice. I used to use the Keep Alive or
Uh-huh.
Stay Alive. I don't remember what it is now, but
just something to get the chlorine out of the water.
yeah. And I've heard, well,
And the
I haven't
ammonia.
heard, but Academy hasn't been stocking it. I haven't found it out in probably 4 months.
Well, try the G juice.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to because I can't find the other stuff anywhere.
I call it liquid Jesus. I mean, it's bring back so many fish. They'll be floating in the live well. I can remember like 7, 8, 9 times when there was what we thought was a dead fish. Put some of that G juice in there, and within about 30 minutes, it'll come back to life. Most of the time, 90% of the time, it'll bring a fish back. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, Chris, that Tiny Boat Nation's cool. I actually was on there. I've been on there a lot lately, and I ordered some a switch panel and some wiring and stuff based on one of those guys' suggestions. There's a main dude on there. I can't remember his name, but I went to his Amazon page and actually picked up some stuff. Where's everyone finding their soundtracks for the content? There's a lot of free music out there. You gotta make sure it's not copyrighted, but I
Found that out.
I've run into that a couple times. But if you just type in free YouTube music, there's stuff out there.
Yep. And I can tell you just on my side of things, I was talking about that Windows Video Editor. It's got tons and tons of music in that thing. It's all free downloads. So you're safe to use any of those. The Fillmore 9, it has a bunch of them in there too. I typically stay with that because I'm just deathly afraid of getting, copyrighted and stuff like that. I try not to get my channel in trouble with anything, but.
Yeah, I've got the software that I've been using. I think it's called Movie Maker Pro Platinum. It's made by Magix. It used to be made by Sony, but the Magix Corporation, they're a software company, and they bought the rights from that. But it's actually got a music maker on there where you can make your own sounds. And I was thinking about that on the way up. I haven't really played with that, and I'm gonna definitely get on there and try to do some stuff.
Jam some stuff
Yeah,
out.
well, I think it'd be cool to set up a timeline on a video and actually try to play music along to it. As you're setting the hook or doing something you can punch in, punch out. It'd be a lot of work, but it'd be cool.
Yeah. RWA Fishing said he does like the stationary better. They do come through cut.
Okay, thanks, RWA. That's kind of what I was thinking. It makes sense.
Oh, he's talking about whiteboard fishing. Okay. We use Fillmore 9. Still got mocks in there. Thanks.
Okay, Joseph says, "Hey, what's up, Joe? That's my. He's on my route. Council Bluff is in Iron County. Lots of trees, deep, clear, giant panfish, bluegill, red ear, big bass. And Swimo says Council Bluff is off 32 between Bixby and Highway 21. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay.
It's right on a curve to turn off, and there's gravel. And a lot of times you got to be careful on that turn because there's gravel that's kind of seeped out there, and you can slide right there. I've gotten It got pretty wild a couple times going through there.
You need to slow down.
Well, man, I used to go there.
Crazy mailman driver.
I used to do a suicide run there after work. You know, I'd get off at Friday afternoon and I'd try to make it to Montauk
And we'd leave at 2:30 in the morning.
Oh
So we'd make it there just in time to get our stuff ready and get there for the buzzer.
Yeah.
And that back then, 32 was just nuts to
It
drive.
was squirrely.
It was squirrely. There was no shoulder, and them truck drivers would come down there, and they didn't care if you were coming or not. When they went around the curve, there wasn't. If the curve was too sharp, their trailer was all the way in your lane coming through that curve.
Yeah. It was
And they
bad.
didn't care. I mean, they just blow you off the road. But
I don't know if you remember. There was an area before they straightened it out where it was a kind of an uphill curve, and it went to 2 lanes for just a little bit on one side. You know, it's a 2-lane highway, but there was one little spot where it went to 2 lanes just to pass. And I was going one morning. I was going to Montauk, and there was a deer in the road on the line, and it was running the same direction that I was traveling. And I had to slow down, and we were literally side by side at like 40 miles. Well, probably not 40, but I'd slowed down at about 30, 35, and this deer was right next to me. I mean, I could have reached out and punched it in the head. I just always remember that. That was back when it was curvy right there.
yep.
So it's a lot better now. There's like about a 30-mile stretch that's kind of curvy still. Tom says rejuvenate.
Rejuvenate. Yeah. Tom also said, please release me. Yeah, Tom, that is what it is. It's like I said, I don't know what's going on with it.
It's a granular, right?
Yeah. And the weird thing is like I said, Academy used to send it for ourselves all the time. We used to buy it down there all the time for our tournament committee too. But for some reason, the only one they have down there is the shad keeper now, or for shad. So I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if Academy just did away with them, but I'm not sure.
Full Armor Bassin, take care, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Always good to see your name on here.
We definitely appreciate it.
Well, we got it's 8:17. We've put in an
Did
hour.
a pretty good one there.
Yeah.
So, caught up on all the
We
comments and
didn't
everything.
get into we didn't get into the video stuff too much, but maybe we can do that next week, and we can talk about co-angling too. I'm thinking about doing a co-angling video, just talk about some of the stuff to bring,
Yeah.
because it's.
I wanted to do a video just on starting out YouTube and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'll be flat out honest with you guys. I mean, there's so many videos out there that are going to be explaining a whole lot more in depth on different stuff than what I can. I can tell you that. I would probably be wasting your time trying to tell you. But that's why I figured we do it on here. It's a little bit more talking back and forth, and you guys can ask the questions.
Yeah. So maybe we'll just keep that topic on the table. You guys we'll think about it, and you guys can think about it. We can talk about it next week. It's a great topic. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are out there just wanting to do little small videos, and there's a lot of little tricks. It's a trial and error process. I don't want to get into it too much now, but I would say one of the most important things is to buy a good camera right off the bat, because we both bought cheap cameras. If you go back and look at some of my early videos, the audio's horrible on them. The camera's not that good, and you can tell. I bought my first GoPro about a year ago, and the quality of the picture just got a whole lot better.
Yeah,
So,
I would say the audio is
way better.
unmatched.
Yeah.
I mean, it made a huge difference. I can tell you with the one I had was the Dragon Touch Vista 5, which was the newest one they had out last year. I think it was like $100. And I literally, you can ask Gabe, I had to get up on top of that camera and talk directly to it, or it would not pick up. I mean, it was terrible.
I had the Dragon Touch 3, which was the even cheaper camera, and then I actually got 4 of them because they were $50. So they're sitting. I'll sell them for $20 if anybody wants them. Just let me know. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't sell them. You don't want them. I'm gonna give them to my kids or something. But there was a cheaper version of what you had, so I was dealing with the same problems. And they don't have an external mic. You can't put an external mic on
No,
there.
there's no way to hook them up.
And that's just almost useless. So you don't have to get a GoPro, but you want something that's right up there with a GoPro comparable. It needs to have an external mic.
I'm just going to
function on
suggest get a GoPro.
I am too.
They're so easy to deal with. I mean,
They're really
software,
user-friendly.
everything's, yeah.
Yeah. I've got the
Extremely.
5s. He's got an 8, and the 8 it's I think at 7 they made some major improvements with the GoPro 7, and then the 8 they made even more improvements.
Yeah.
So I think they still sell the 5, and it's a good
I would
camera.
actually, wow.
But if I was the 5 is great, the Hero Black 5. I've got 2 of those, and that's what you're seeing in my videos. That's all the 5. So if you like that work for you. And I'm just shooting 1080p, 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
But that 7, if you want to move up, the 7's a jump, and then the 8 is even has more functions than the 7.
And I will tell you one of the nice things that I really like about the newer ones is if you look, it's got the display on the back there. You have all your controls. It's all touch screen. The other thing I really like about this one is it actually has built-in flip down tabs. You see there on the bottom. So you always have them tabs, or you can just set them up and then you can set your camera down flat on whatever you need and record. So that is kind of nice there. And they're metal, they're not plastic.
Yeah, they're good cameras, and they're waterproof. Like I think starting with the 5, the camera is waterproof, so you no longer have to put it in a waterproof housing, which is really handy. As long as you got that side plate on,
Yeah,
you're good.
and I don't know about yours, but on the 5s, does that? I know when you take this off, does yours come off?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if the other ones did it or not.
Yeah, that side plate comes off, and I leave it off since I'm going to be running like an external power supply to
Right.
it. Yeah, I've got that off of there.
All right, looks like we're
All right, Swimo, DJ, we're done, man. We've been on here for a while. We just went over a variety of topics. We're gonna try to start talking. We're gonna talk next week about co-angling maybe, and get on this YouTube video stuff again. So
Microphone videos can barely hear the other guy in the back of the boat.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, I've got a lapel mic. It's a wireless mic, and I don't use it enough. I need to get that into rotation. It's just you start getting too much stuff if you start setting up all these different things. The chesty is good too, because you can actually talk right into it no matter where you're at in the boat. It's kind of a compromise between a pole cam and a wireless mic. I personally like the perspective of a pole cam where you can see everything going on versus the chesty, but it's kind of cool to mix them up, if you have both running.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He said he missed one for $125. That sucks.
Yeah, there's some good buys out there. Yeah. So, all right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up, man. Really appreciate you guys coming on here and chatting, and hope you'll join us next week. Same time, same place. Make sure you subscribe to Back Yard Bassin's channel if you haven't already. And I'm dropping content Wednesdays and Saturdays. He's dropping Wednesdays and Sundays?
Wednesdays and Sundays.
Yeah, so make sure to hit that bell notification so you'll be the first to know when that stuff's dropped. And appreciate your support.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Adios, muchachos.